There was a CEO yesterday that resigned because he made the announcement, or somebody on their Twitter made the announcement, that they were going to buy 24,800 Bitcoin. But the catch is, you won't believe what industry this person was in. I'm going to get into that, but first I have some interesting economic data that's going to make you so bullish it's ridiculous, but it's also going to show how much inflation is about to happen. Unchained.com goes over some really interesting stats. So Social Security and Medicare are now underfunded by $175 trillion. I'm not talking billion, not million, $1 trillion. This is really, really bad. This is, and I'm going to get into how this is going to be resolved potentially. But that comes to roughly $1.4 million per American household. I don't think that's going to happen, right? So there are three ways to overcome this, right? Slash beneficiaries. Don't think that's going to happen. Massive tax hikes, probably going to happen. But the thing that's probably going to most likely happen, because, I mean, governments don't like asking for tax hikes that much because people will be like, I don't want it, I don't want it. You know what I mean? So they're going to do something that's a little more covert. What is that? Well, they're going to cut everybody's benefit to poverty level. I think that's what's going to happen. Also, I think the raising of taxes is going to happen as well, but just a little bit. And then obviously tons and tons of currency printing. That is going to happen because the US government does not need to ask for their currency printing. They just print and print and print. So that's going to cause a ridiculous amount of inflation. Okay, so enough about the US economy. Let's go over to Ethereum now. $4.5 trillion asset under management company or institution Fidelity files for an S1 form for a spot Ethereum ETF with staking included. That's going to be really interesting. So that now there's going to be competition in staking. If you are part of our learningcrypto.com membership, you will know that we are staking our Ethereum on Lido.fi. So the thing that's worrying about this is that Ethereum is going to be more and more centralized, in my opinion, because if they have over 33% of the network or of the coin staked, that will give them a lot more push and pull or leverage in terms of like where the development goes with Ethereum. Now, that's very similar to a 51% attack on proof of work blockchains. So that's kind of worrying. But you know what, whatever, we all knew once Ethereum went from proof of work to proof of stake, that it would be much more centralized. Now let's go over to the good news about the sell-off recently. Half of the Bitcoin that Grayscale has been selling has been sold. Keep in mind, that's half, right? So we are more than halfway done with this because Grayscale is not going to get rid of all of their coins. All right, they're going to keep a bunch of coins. So this is pretty good news. So let's see what happens with the price of Bitcoin now that it's probably going to be less and less. There's going to be less and less pressure on Bitcoin now in terms of price. Okay, so now let's go to history right now. This is really interesting, and this is going to pave the way for massive investor interest in Bitcoin. The NASDAQ 100 is up 44% versus the US dollar. Now, the NASDAQ 100 is minus 44% versus Bitcoin. This is going to raise a lot of concerns about traditional, financial people that are in stocks, whatever. They are probably going to look at this going, wow, we need much more exposure to Bitcoin than we do the stocks, essentially. And that's going to really put a lot of pressure, upward pressure on the price as well. And it's going to suck a lot of Bitcoin off the market as well. So it's going to be interesting whether or not these people go and just buy the ETFs or they actually learn about Bitcoin and they buy and they hold their own coins. I hope they do that instead, because that's the only way to learn about Bitcoin, not just buying a derivative of Bitcoin called a Bitcoin ETF. Lastly, let's go over this crazy bit of news I saw yesterday, and I was thinking, I can't believe my eyes. So there was a gold company named Nelam, which is a South American gold company. And these, I don't know if it was like the CEO or whatever, but this is from Bitcoin Archive on Twitter. The CEO of the company that made the dubious 24,800 Bitcoin. So this guy said that they were going to buy 24,800 Bitcoin. I think it was worth like $1.7 billion. This is a gold mining company saying that they're going to buy Bitcoin. There's a lot of gold people going, oh my gosh, we're freaking out. So that guy has resigned. So the CEO has resigned because he was not given details of the transaction or the announcement beforehand. And in his own words, it was a classic pump and dump. The stock did a 10x today. Really interesting, guys. So you know what? I would expect maybe this didn't happen right now because I saw this news yesterday. I'm going, wow, the stock's, doing daily volume of $40,000. Like this, how is it going to spend $1.7 billion to buy Bitcoin? And it kind of didn't make any sense. But yeah, so let's see what happens in the future. I would expect gold companies to definitely go ahead and put some Bitcoin on their balance sheet because you know what? Gold is probably going to stay very tame compared to what Bitcoin is going to do. I'm not bashing gold or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, if you look at the price of gold back in 2011, which is $1,900, and right now, which is just over $2,000, it really doesn't rise that much, and they're going to really benefit with buying Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So that's all I have. Please like and subscribe. Check us down below if you want to see our trade alerts, portfolio updates. You want to see what we are buying and when we are going to be selling. LearningCrypto.com. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.